What particular opportunities and challenges does computing present to assessment for learning? The assessment of children's progress and achievement is something that teachers should do on a daily basis and should form the foundation for future lesson planning. But what do we mean by assessment for learning? A recent study by Hargraves found a varying degree of meaning and understanding amongst teachers as to what the term assessment for learning means. Pollard defines assessment for learning as a process which occurs between teacher and pupils, focusing on the integration of assessment through teaching and learning. Furthermore, Black and Williams stressed that assessment for learning looks forward as well as back and is formative by nature. Therefore, practitioners who assess in this way are not merely concerned with what their students have learned, rather they assess to identify what the next steps in learning should be. Whilst teachers are expected to assess children in every area of the curriculum, a recent Ofsted report found that assessment for computing was judged to be no better than satisfactory in 53 of the 86 primary schools observed. Furthermore, Ofsted reported that a lack of tracking of pupil progress has led to children and teachers becoming disconnected from their awareness of their current level of attainment and subsequently were unsure of what they needed to do to improve their work. Failure to assess children effectively in computing means, as a profession, we are failing to meet Teaching Standard 6. But why is assessing children's work in computing so hard? Ofsted reported that head teachers found there was no incentive to collect information or even monitor computing outcomes, whilst in other schools, some teachers lacked little understanding of what was required for pupils to reach a certain level. And in many schools, computing was only assessed in case-specific lessons. This meant pupils' work in other subjects was not monitored or built into planned development. Bennett, Hamill and Pickford argue that the use of collaborative work can prevent teachers from assessing children's attainment effectively, as often they are unsure of who contributed what to the final product. Complexities with assessing computing was made further difficult by Gove's decision to scrap levels, citing that they inhibited children from developing deep understanding with the curriculum. However, as a profession, we still need to assess children's ability within computing so that we can ensure they reach the attainment targets for each key stage as outlined in the national curriculum. Rather than being deterred from this lack of uncertainty, research suggests that it should be embraced as it has allowed schools an element of freedom and creativity when assessing children. Following Gove's decisions to scrap levels, Berry devised computer assessment criteria in direct relation to the national curriculum. So, how can we effectively use assessment for learning to enhance teaching, understanding and subsequent pupil progress? There are various methods of formative assessment that we can use to inform future planning, from observations to self-assessment to feedback and peer evaluation. Webb and Cox suggested that teachers use the social environment of the classroom to enhance assessment for learning, whereby assessment takes place through interaction with others. Harrison emphasises the use of technical interviews as a way of gauging children's current level of computational thinking, suggesting that they offer a viable way for children to explain and justify their problem-solving choices. He suggests that practitioners use a variety of open-ended questions to engage children in an open and deep dialogue. Open badges allow children to visually see their achievement and what areas still needed to be accomplished. In my own practice, I have not witnessed any computing teaching, let alone assessment of children's work. So whilst I currently feel apprehensive in the idea of having to assess children's computing work, I'm fully aware that there is a wealth of information out there that can help me succeed in this.